Today, I'll explain how AI actually changes your value at work, like you're 5 years old. By the end, you'll understand the one thing that makes certain people nearly impossible to replace. Here's the thing. AI isn't making everyone more valuable. It's making some people nearly irreplaceable while quietly making others redundant. And the difference isn't talent, experience, or how hard you work. It comes down to one specific thing. And most people don't even realize they're missing it. Most people are treating AI like a faster search engine. They copy the output, paste it in, and move on without a second thought. That works fine, right up until the moment your boss realizes they don't need you to do that anymore. But a smaller group of people figured something out. AI doesn't replace judgment, and it can't replace taste. It absolutely cannot replace the ability to know when the answer it just gave you is completely wrong. Those people aren't just surviving the AI wave, they're riding it while everyone else is getting knocked over. So let's follow someone through this. Her name is Maya, a marketing manager at a mid-sized company. She's smart, works hard, and has 8 years of experience. 6 months ago, her company started using AI tools across every team. Maya did what most people did. She used it to write emails faster, summarize reports, draft campaign ideas. She got more efficient, and things were going well. But here's what happened next, and this is the part that actually matters. Her colleague Jordan started using AI completely differently. 3 months later, Jordan got promoted, and Maya didn't. That gap, the reason one moved up while the other stayed put, is exactly what this whole video is about. Let's talk about what AI is actually good at, because understanding this is where everything starts to make sense. AI is extraordinarily good at pattern recognition. It's consumed more text than any human ever could, and it can find structure, spot formats, and generate options in about 4 seconds. Think of it like the world's fastest, most well-read intern. Incredible at the first draft, but terrible at knowing if the first draft is actually good. And here's something worth knowing. Studies suggest knowledge workers using AI can complete certain tasks up to 40% faster. That's real. But speed isn't the same as quality, and quantity isn't the same as value. More output doesn't automatically mean better outcomes. That last part is crucial, because most work isn't just producing an output, it's knowing what a good output even looks like. And that's a judgment call, which is still completely human. Now here's the plot twist most people miss. The people AI is replacing aren't the ones who do complex work. They're the ones who do repeatable work. Those aren't the same thing. If your job is mostly following a process, filling in a template, pulling data, writing the same type of email over and over, AI can learn that process faster than you can explain it. But if your job requires reading a room, making a call, knowing which of 5 good options is right for this specific moment and audience, AI is stuck. It needs you. So what did Jordan do differently? She didn't use AI to do her job faster. That she used it to do a job one level above her actual job. That's the whole difference. And it came down to 3 things. I'll give you the first 2 now. The third one, the one nobody talks about, is worth waiting for. First, taste. This is the ability to evaluate output, not just produce it. Can you look at something and know in your gut whether it's actually good? Not just functional, actually good. Right for this moment, this audience, this situation. Here's what taste looks like in practice. An AI can write a campaign headline that's technically compelling, but it doesn't know that your brand almost went under 2 years ago. It doesn't know that a certain tone would land completely wrong with anyone who remembers it. Jordan knew that. She'd look at the AI's headline and think, clever, but not for us. Not right now. She might spend 20 minutes refining a single line that the AI produced in 4 seconds because she understood the difference between something that works and something that resonates. That instinct is taste. AI can mimic the patterns of taste, but it can't feel the gap between almost right and actually right. That gap is where you live. Second, context that lives outside the document. Selling about what you carry around every day that an AI simply doesn't have access to. Your company's weird history, the interpersonal tension in last Tuesday's meeting, the reason a technically brilliant idea will never fly with this particular client. Jordan would feed that context into the AI constantly. She'd add what she knew. Internal politics, a conversation with a customer, the fact that the CEO hates a certain phrase because of a bad experience 3 years ago. The AI's output got sharper every time. Because Jordan was doing something most people skip. She was translating messy reality into clear information the machine could actually use. And translators have always been valuable. Think about what an HR manager carries that AI never will. Which employee is quietly burning out? Which team dynamic is about to snap? Which conversation needs to happen before the policy gets written? None of that lives in a document. All of it changes the answer. The more complex your organization, the more of that invisible context exists, and the more valuable the person who holds it becomes. That knowledge isn't just useful, it's genuinely protective. Here's the analogy that makes this click. Think about GPS. When GPS first came out, people panicked that cab drivers would become worthless. Why do you need someone who knows the city when the phone knows every street? But the highest-rated Uber drivers have something in common. They know when to ignore the GPS. They know the route that avoids the event that just let out downtown. They know the road that's been under construction for 6 months, even though the app hasn't caught up yet. The GPS made bad drivers worse and good drivers better. AI works exactly the same way. It amplifies whoever's holding the wheel. Now here's the third thing, the one that changes everything: accountability. AI can produce a recommendation, but it cannot stand behind one. It cannot walk into a boardroom and say, "I've thought about this, I know the risks, and this is the call I'm making." That moment, that willingness to own a decision, is still entirely human. And in a world where everyone's outsourcing their thinking to a machine, the person who still thinks, who still stakes their reputation on a judgment call, becomes extraordinarily rare. Rare means valuable. That's just how it works. When something goes wrong, and eventually something always does, someone has to be accountable. AI won't raise its hand. That person has to be you. Back to Maya. She figured this out eventually. She stopped asking AI to give her answers. She started asking it to pressure test her answers. What am I missing? What's the strongest counter-argument? What assumptions am I making that I haven't questioned yet? She used the AI like a sparring partner, not a ghostwriter. Her thinking got sharper. Her decisions got faster. Her manager noticed, not because she was using AI, but because her judgment was becoming undeniable. She wasn't passing along outputs anymore. She was showing up with a point of view, a real one, her own. That's the move. That's the whole thing. Here's where we land. This technology is going to touch every job. The question isn't whether AI will affect what you do. It already is. The question is whether you're in the loop, or you are the loop. Whether you're processing outputs or providing the judgment that makes those outputs worth anything at all. Taste, context, and accountability. Those three things cannot be automated. They can barely even be taught. They come from showing up, paying attention, and actually caring whether the answer is right, not just whether it looks right. The people who bring all three aren't just safe from AI. They're the ones AI makes dangerous in the best possible way. So here's the question worth sitting with. Drop your answer below because I'm genuinely curious. Right now, in your actual job, which of those three things are you best at, and which one are you quietly avoiding?